Hello, and thank you for downloading episode 78 of We Got This with Mark and Hal. Next weekend is Labor Day weekend, and that means one thing. If you're in the Atlanta area, you're probably going to Dragon Con, and I am going too. I've got all sorts of fun panels going on. I'm doing a Q&A. I'm doing an improv panel with my buddy Scott Adsit. I'm doing a big I Got This panel without Mark. We're going to do live answering of all the questions that you have right there in the audience with a panel of great guests, both past guests and people who have never done the show before. There are going to be performances, and I'm going to be at the Walk of Fame signing autographs just for you. Yes, you. So come by and see me. If you want a full rundown of all the stuff that I'm going to be doing at Dragon Con all weekend long, you can go to hallublin.com and you'll see a big banner across the top with a link you can click to see the full schedule. But I also encourage you to download the Dragon Con app and favorite all those panels of mine that you want to come and see. And then if the room changes, you'll know about it because it's a con and these things happen. But now, let's get down to the business of cleaning a slate in episode 78 of We Got This with Mark and Hal. Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle once and for all. Clean slate.
That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcast should have a theme song. Podcast should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's up? How are you, Hal?
I'm doing great, and the reason why is because I'm looking at your face. We're in the same room for the first time in months.
It's so rare because I live in New York and you live in Los Angeles. Normally we're visiting each other via Skype. But now we are in the same room together, and there is a third person in this room with us today.
There is a third person in this room. He's a good buddy of mine. We met, a couple of years ago at the Finley Adventure Hour Welcome to Night Vale crossover. You know him from a variety of things, the internet, films, television, but I know him from sitting right to my left. It's Wil Wheaton, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, buddy.
Thanks for joining us, Will.
You know, I was under the impression that you lived in Los Angeles because 100% of the times I've seen you, it has been in person in Los
LA,
Angeles.
Yeah. No, when you're around, I hear that you're going to be there, so I fly out.
Yeah.
Hal be damned. Like,
yeah. No, I
I'll
get
see
it.
him on Skype, but Will I want to see in person.
The Will signal is flashed into the sky. And Mark appears. He's wearing his cape and cowl, which is really nice of him.
It's terrific.
That's right.
But the reason why we're all here is to clean our slate.
Right.
So Will, we get a lot of different topics from our listeners, which is great. We have a list of like 250 different topics.
That's a lot of topics.
It is a lot. And we've gotten through 70 some of them as
That's a lot of topics.
It's a lot of topics.
Yeah.
And not all of them are a full episode topic. So what we do is we like to gather a bunch of the smaller ones and go through them together and issue some rulings because these people deserve satisfaction as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's kick it off.
All right.
JMac89, I hope I'm saying that right, but it's a username on the internet, so who cares, wants to know, this is their actual thing. They just wrote amusement park etiquette.
Yeah. Normally we will get full questions or binaries like this versus this or what's the best blank. This just said theme park etiquette.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to tackle this necessarily.
Oh, I got you. Not a question. Next.
Yeah. I was thinking about this before, and I feel like this one breaks down into two things. That if you follow these two things, you are pretty much covered. Know your place in the crowd, meaning don't stand in the middle of a thoroughfare.
Right.
Wait in line. Don't get to the front of the food line and not be ready to order. Know your place in the crowd and be aware that there are kids there. So don't smoke and swear and carry on, and fight and do things that would.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would add, I think John Roderick has a rule about always keep moving and like be aware of where you are and always keep moving and don't smoke in line. Yeah. You are captain of the sailing ship on planet
right. Which
on
is
the
nowhere...
ocean of butts.
Yeah.
If you do that. And I've been around people doing that. And then when you're like, hey, they look at you like you're the asshole.
No, it's like, man, come on, there's kids here.
Yeah.
There's
I don't even care about kids. Kids are the worst. I just care about me. I don't want that.
You're tall, so if you're tall, like, look, it's bad to smoke around kids, but adults get it way worse because it's usually other adults smoking and it goes right into your face.
I don't know, man. Usually I just smoke with other kids out on the loading dock. Yeah. We're out there throwing dice and, talking about the Bowery.
With your Newsies caps on?
Yeah, exactly. your penny of pape.
Your breeches or whatever weird knee pants or
here's the thing for amusement park etiquette.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Entirely acceptable to hold a place in line for like a person,
right?
Or like if you are with a partner and you have a child with you, and the kid like just can't keep it together to be like in the line that long. 2 people, fine. Any more than that, and I feel like you're breaking the social contract.
Yeah. No. I'm holding this here for the rest of my football team.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Here they come, the 89 San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
Get ready to go on Splash Mountain. Let me add one more thing on top of this. I have an etiquette piece and a tip. This is sort of an addendum to knowing your place in the crowd, which is know your place in line.
Mm-hmm.
Often, and I go to Disneyland, I'm an annual pass holder at Disneyland, not to brag.
Are you in a Disney gang?
No, but I've seen them.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
There's gangs at Disneyland.
I worked there for 9 years and I never saw gangs.
It's a relatively new thing. They call themselves social clubs, and they dress and act like Hell's Angels in the 70s, and each gang has a different amount of turf. That they like. So there's like there's like the main street taking it too seriously, and then there's the like the fantasy land needs to do something else with their timers.
Sure.
And
the frontier land, they probably own actual guns, and one of them may have gotten one into the park that day.
Yeah, and there apparently has recently been a bit of a problem because some of them like they're like their initiations to get into these various gangs were like disrupting other guests. So I was talking about this with a tour guide at Disneyland, and I concluded that I was like, bravo, congratulations, Disney gang people, you've managed to completely f up something like Disneyland.
Yeah,
you wrecked Disneyland. Congratulations.
Do they?
Bravo.
Do they delineate? Like, I feel like the turf at Disneyland is pretty much already broken up.
Yeah.
Do people have, is there a gang that's got like, we cover Adventureland, but also we get Tom Sawyer Island?
I don't know.
And we get a quarter of Critter Country.
Yeah.
Yeah. They probably have beef with somebody who's like, no, we're the Winnie the Pooh honey lovers.
Yeah. Hey man, don't wear green in front of Roger Rabbit's cartoons. Man. Don't do it, man. That's the best way to get rolled.
I don't know.
You're going to get dipped.
If you're the Toontown gang though, that's like way on the far end of the park. That's your turf.
Yeah, you're the Toontown Dippers.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, you want to get on the Casey Jr. Circus train? That's our country.
Listen, if you want to ride the storybook canal boats, that's fine. I just want to wet my beak.
Let me get half of that fast pass, nerd.
I can't. The Astro Blasters already took my fast pass.
Not my problem.
Mad Hatters, move. Quick tip though.
Yeah, right, because you're an annual pass holder, not in a gang.
This is just general line, and I don't sneak into lines often. That's not me. I'd rather just get in where I'm supposed to and go through, because I don't like when it happens to me. But if you need to get into a line for some reason, here's the move. You take out your cell phone and act like you're responding to something important, and then slowly sidle.
Oh, you're the worst.
What?
I'm not saying I do this.
Everybody
You're the worst.
knows that move.
I've seen it.
You're the worst.
I'm pretty terrible.
And by the way, that's how you get initiated into the Tomorrowland Texters.
Well, that was a horrifying. I didn't expect this to go in such a horrifying direction.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Disney gangs.
Here's how to be a jerk. Well, that was your tip.
All right, let's get out of the theme parks. This is getting dangerous. Nick Clark.
Hi, Nick.
Has asked, what is the best birthday? And by that, it doesn't mean like the party type, but the best year to turn. Like your 10th birthday, your 21st birthday, 30th, 50th, 40th, what have you.
I don't know. I know you don't drink, Hal, so.
Correct.
21st 21st, I feel like, has a lot of build up to it. You're really excited about going out on your 21st birthday, and you remember the first 20 minutes of it because everybody wants to line up a shot for you. Then you're trashed and the night's no longer fun. So 21st is fun for a very brief amount of time.
I don't know. Turning 18, you can register for the draft. That's pretty exciting.
Finally.
Yeah, I mean, it's about time.
Yeah.
What are your feelings on the golden birthday? That being the golden birthday being you turn the age that your birth date is. So, for example, I'm July 29th. So my golden birthday would have been when I turned 29. And that would have been, right. So that is,
was that a memorable party?
I was super freaked out about turning 29 because I had set up all of these arbitrary goals that had to be achieved before I turned 30, and I had accomplished none of them. And not for lack of trying. Mm-hmm. And turning 29 was really freaking me out because I really felt the timer start to tick very, very loudly. So I didn't really want to do much for my 29th birthday. Oddly enough, turning 30 wasn't that big a deal because I think I had just made my peace with, 30 years of failure. And I was like, okay, I can do this.
Was that the first birthday? Because I do feel like there's a shift where you go from getting excited about getting older and more opportunities coming up. Was that for you, 29, the first shift into I have to think about things different? I think about birthdays differently.
Not really. I mean, I this year, I turned 44 this year, and I didn't really want to do anything. And my wife was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, yeah. I don't feel the need. I don't want to plan a party. I don't want to host a party. I don't want to. You know what I want to do? I want to stay home and it's just us and we're going to watch a bunch of Daredevil. That's all I wanted to do. And it was great. But then on her birthday, we did a whole bunch of stuff because she likes to do a bunch of things on her birthday.
Yeah.
Do you share a friend group? So it's like, great, we can see everyone all at once on her birthday.
Yes.
So that my birthday can be.
Yeah.
That makes it easier.
Yeah. But I don't know. What do you think what's the best birthday, Hal?
I feel like you bring up a really good point. First of all, I immediately thought of when I first got out of college, I worked as a professional apprentice at the Arden Theater in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And one of the things they had us do was write out, they wanted us to be goal-oriented, which was really odd when basically the job was like sweeping up the bathrooms for 70 hours a week. But they were like, what do you want to achieve by the time you were 30? And if I looked back at that list, which I maybe still have somewhere back home, I'm sure I hit none of those things, but it did put a lot of pressure.
You didn't have podcast on there?
I did not have podcast on there. I had stuff like, I knew I wanted to be a performer. I was like, I will win the best supporting actor Oscar.
Right.
Like that was a goal, not an expectation, but a goal.
But
that's a lot.
I'm not going for best actor. I'm going for best supporting actor because I want to be realistic.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
Be reasonable about it.
Yeah. I'll win a Grammy. I can do that.
Yeah. And then when I finally came out here and I was doing extra work on Spider-Man, I was like, hold on a second.
They don't get best supporting actor nominations to the extras in Spider-Man.
It was a lot of supporting. Randy Savage was there.
Oh,
wow.
God bless Oliver Sholem. But yeah, my 30th birthday was the last time I really tried to do, my wife, who is really good at celebrating stuff, she planned a surprise party for me.
My wife did that for my 40th birthday.
And I'm not a party guy, but the fact that she threw it, I had a great time there. It was a great party, had a lot of fun. But in general, I'm more like you, where she's like, what do you want to do? And I go, I really don't know. Let's just go get some dinner and we'll hang out, maybe see a movie. We went to Disneyland this past year, which was a lot of fun, but I want to see everybody. But also when you're the host of a party, there's so much pressure to do a bunch of stuff. My golden birthday was the 9th because I'm January 9th. And I feel like
you were really trashed. So
everybody was lining up shots for me at the Y.
That's what they do.
I did have an early. Yeah. There were Y pool parties that were really hot when I was a kid, like 6, 7, 8, and we could not afford the pool rental or something, so we did a craft party at the Y. So I remember that being a really disappointing.
Just
birthday.
Eyeballing the pool while you're cutting out construction paper.
Yeah.
Look at all those kids having fun over there. Hand me the Elmers.
I'm making a pool out of styrofoam.
And my tears.
I'm filling it with sadness.
Saltwater pool.
I think I feel like there's probably 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there, because you're young enough that you can just like you're reckless. You know what I mean? You just like you lean into everything, and your parents go nuts, and your friends, and the whole bit. And then as you get a little bit older, that whole like thing about kind of like, are you going to be cool? Who are you going to invite? Right. Will there be girls there? It kind of gets all confusing and weird. So I think like I would probably like, before Chuck E. Cheese just fell apart and became like a training ground for the future gambling addicts of tomorrow, when it was still about like arcade games and disappointing pizza. So probably up until about the time that I was like 10, I guess. I was
going to throw 10 out, as I feel like 10 is the perfect birthday age, because you do have that reckless abandon of childhood, and you haven't hit, I mean, most people haven't hit puberty by the time they're 10, and so that you're not dealing with girls and hormones, and like things aren't weird yet. You're not trying too hard to be cool. But the 10th birthday does have that, the excitement of growing up factor. Cause I remember what a big deal it was.
Double
digits, man. Yeah. 10 years old is, I feel like the 10th birthday is the perfect combination of we're kids. We can do kid stuff. Birthday parties are, our thing. They are our social life.
Yeah.
And 10 means I am growing up, you guys, and I'm real excited about it.
And if you are a skeptic on the concept of 0, you can finally embrace it, and it actually is a meaningful part of your life now.
So for that reason alone.
Yeah. The 10th birthday is the best birthday. Asked and
Nick.
Answered. Yeah. There you go, Nick. Hope you have a time machine so you can go back and experience that last bit of joy that any of us will have in our lives.
Everything else sucks after that.
We don't know. Maybe Nick is 9.
It could be.
Nick, happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah.
A special 10th birthday greeting to Nick Clark from the internet.
And now it's time for the All Skate.
Yeah.
All right. The next one, this is a tricky one. Here's the question as asked.
Wait, hold on.
What?
You just brought up All Skate. Every time I went to a roller skating rink as a kid, which I loved.
Sure. Yeah. Roller Ridge, Knoxville.
We had the United Skates of America in the Palace.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
We have the Moonlight Rollerway. It's still here. It's in Glendale.
Uh-huh.
And you
guys, let's go right now.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
No?
Why?
No, because I play hockey, and roller skates and hockey skates are similar, but just different enough that I wipe out every time I roller skate.
Not used to the wide
because I'm not used
turning
to
radius.
It's just super weird, and my wife's really good at all the roller skating and everything, and I'm not.
Oh, okay. You don't like her. You don't like her being better.
Well, I can't. No, it's just that she's like, let's go. It's fun. Let's do all this crazy stuff, and I'm like, and I can't. And she's older than me, and I'm like, no, but the hips, and she's crazy about it.
Will, can you skate backwards?
Yeah, of course I can.
I wish I could skate backwards.
I'm a goalie. It's like 90% of the job.
All I can do is transition into a back skate on a pair of rollerblades, and then I'm like, well, I guess I'll stop rolling now.
I will coast as far as I can. I'll go until I stop and have someone push me from the front.
So you have that weird crouch.
Yeah. I'm crouched so that I don't fall over. Someone can push me from the front, and then whenever the ice stops me, that's when.
I broke one of my ribs once at a roller rink. Now, the official story is that the door opened and a bear was coming in. And I fought off the bear.
That's very brave.
And Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank
on your victory.
I won, but not without cost.
Sure.
I broke my rib.
Mm-hmm.
The way my wife tells the story, I was turning in the corner and I caught the quad wheel skates on each other, and I was going pretty fast because I do, and I went from pretty fast skating to wham, straight down. So like I had worked out at one time. I worked out the force equation. If this had actually happened, not the bear thing, which is what really happened. Yeah. And I fell down and I landed on, if her story is to be believed, I would have landed right on my fist.
Ooh.
And so I would have taken about 160 pounds, moving forward about 13 miles an hour, and then taken it from a height of, I guess this would be about 4.5 feet, and then thrust it directly down onto a surface area of,
how big's a fist? 4-inch diameter?
Yeah, just about that. Yeah.
Wow.
And,
in theory.
in theory.
Right.
That's not what happened.
What happened
It was
with the
fighting the bear. But I will tell you, if you can avoid breaking ribs, highly recommend staying. Just stay away from that.
That's a freebie.
Yeah.
There's a freebie for you.
Yeah. This is a bonus topic. Will W says, ribs, break them or don't break them. I'm going to go with don't break them.
Great. Asked and answered. All right. Moving on to our next question. Here's the question as written. From Maud Rich and her 11-year-old daughter Samantha. Hello, Samantha. Hello, Maud.
Gosh, I hope Samantha appreciated her last birthday.
I know.
Yeah.
Samantha, let us know
Sorry.
what you did for your 10th birthday.
Sorry about that.
All right. Which name is superior? Buffalo or bison? Now, these are, as Hal knows, I frequently will research these topics. By research, I mean Google them. And,
that's a form of research.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the base form of research.
Yeah. And I can tell you serious because you're not binging them.
Right. No. Nobody. Do people bing things except Donald Trump when he's talking?
I don't know.
The American bison and buffalo are two different species of animal. Buffalo, when settlers first came over to the New World and saw them, they mistakenly referred to them as buffalo. The name stuck. But they are actually the American bison. And then there are two different buffalo, which are an Asian water buffalo, which are the ones with the giant horns, and the African buffalo, which is smaller and their heads look like they have little, British barrister hats on them.
I like those.
Yeah. So buffalo wins, specifically the African buffalo.
Yeah. And only because of the hats.
Oh, yeah. Any animal that has a hat built in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
those buffaloes are horrible racists. But I know. But look at their hats.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Buffalo for president.
Yeah.
They do have pointy white hats. That's what they're,
that's what they're known for. Yeah.
All right. So is that asked and answered, or are we just deciding what's the best animal that looks like it's wearing a hat?
Well, it's asked and answered, and I would add on, hey, Whole Foods, why don't you fix the packaging on all that meat you're selling, everybody? Because you write ground bison. No, I guess that's right.
Did they say bison? Yeah.
You know what, Whole Foods, I'm letting you off the hook this time, but you better watch out.
Yeah.
You are on notice.
Keep an eye on things.
Because Ted Turner has Ted's Montana Grill. That's his chain restaurant, which is a steakhouse. But they serve, I guess it's bison there too. I don't know why I've ever thought that it was ground buffalo. Maybe because
when you were in Asia or Africa?
I don't know. I'm having a bad brain day, and now I'm realizing maybe it's my whole life.
My understanding is that the species that is dominant in North America right now is bison.
It is, and it is only found in North America.
Yes,
right.
and that in fact bison were so plentiful during the westward expansion during the early half of the 1800s that they were so plentiful that settlers just shot them for sport from trains and from wagons, and then just let them die because there were so many of them everywhere.
And now there are not.
And now they are not. But there are numerous herds in Yellowstone National Park, and you can go see them, and they're really cool.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say really delicious.
They made this country. The American bison made the United States what it is.
Yeah. They built the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pulling ropes and hauling those mountains up.
Yeah.
Pretty sure ancient aliens made those mountains.
Ancient aliens made the Grand Canyon.
Oh, right.
And those hats on the buffalo.
Those buffalo hats.
This is, well, let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a buffalo take its hat off?
No.
No, you haven't.
Yeah.
Well, you know why? What's it hiding?
That's true.
A tiny alien.
The tiny alien that rides it.
Yeah.
No, they're on to us. We must retreat.
I just want to see all the buffalo lift off all at once.
So long. Thanks for all the fish.
Okay. That's asked and answered. It's buffalo.
Yeah. Wait, what? No, it's bison.
No, buffalo of the hat.
Oh, the hat.
Yeah,
buffalo.
it's definitely buffalo.
All
Buffalo
right.
because of the hat.
Great.
Yeah.
I thought at the end there we turned it around and we made it, America was built by bison and they were amazing, but buffalo had the hat.
Also, there's not a hockey team called the Bison Sabres.
There's also not a city called Bison, New York.
Because buffalo's better.
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect. All right. Next topic. This one is from Haley Thompson. And Haley wants to know, guys, what's the best part of the chicken?
Well, this comes down
I
to...
assume this means for eating.
By a show of voice,
Yeah.
who prefers dark meat over white meat? I do.
Why?
Just me? Okay. Because it's flavorful and fatty. and I don't care about myself physically, so whatever
All right.
gets me there faster.
Okay. All right.
For me, I like white meat because I'm a chicken breast guy.
Mhm.
Specifically because it's the easiest, like I have to do the least amount of work to just pull off the most meat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chicken wings can kiss my butt.
My answer is a little bit of a cop out. I actually like the entire chicken because when I make chicken,
Mhm.
when I cook chicken to feed my family, I really like to brine it, stuff it, and then make it in my smoker.
Sure.
And that's really the way that I like to do it.
I like that.
Now, if we were to go and take this another, I will add supporting evidence. A chicken,
Mhm.
like when it's alive, they're badasses.
Mm-hmm.
Like chickens, they're scrappers. And when a new
Sure, Rocky couldn't catch one.
When a new, it's like, listen, I think Rocky was puffed up by the media. But that Hagiography movie they made about him was super offensive. I think that you watch them and like, when a new chicken comes in, they beat the hell out of that chicken and and then the chicken fights back. And then the other chickens are like, all right, you can stick around. And they don't take crap from anybody.
These chickens sound like one of those Disneyland
Yeah, I was gonna
gangs.
say.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
You survived. Good. We take over Tomorrowland Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, the California, Adventure chickens.
Yeah.
California Adventure only has one gang for the whole park.
thing. And nobody really
and
wants
it's
to
those
be
cats, the cats of Disneyland.
Yeah.
The cats that live by
there. The ones that live on the Jungle Boat Island?
Yeah, they live there, and then the rapids in Disney's California Adventure. If you want to see, there are real cats. There is an Instagram tag for
Disney put
cats
them
of
there.
Disneyland. Yeah, they're there to take care of vermin.
Yes.
Right?
But we're not talking
no.
about cats at Disneyland. We're
So-
talking about what is the best cut of chicken.
So, Will, granted that sounds like a great way to make chicken. Sounds fantastic.
It's really cool. And then here's
Yeah.
the thing. When it's all done, I save the parts of the chicken that we don't eat and I turn them into stock,
Yes, you do.
which I then turn into chicken soup.
That's fantastic.
It's pretty great. Like I use all of the chicken mostly.
Yeah, well, that's the way you.
I don't use the feet or the neck or the face.
You don't purchase them in their entirety. They're packaged. They're whole chickens, but they're packaged in a store,
Yeah.
missing the feet and the head. You're not
Yeah.
one of those.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
say you,
Listen, I'm a 21st century American. I don't have to deal with the unpleasant realities of being a carnivore.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, what kind of
Where does
ridiculousness do you
meat
think
come
I am?
from? It comes from
from
the
the
grocery
store.
store.
Yeah. What am I talking about? It comes from the freezer and they're cold things.
my hunting rifle is my credit card. So assume you've cooked your chicken.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
out on the plate.
Yeah.
Everybody, your family says, "Will, we want you to have the first piece."
Really?
Where are you going to get that first piece of chicken? And I know that rarely do you get the first choice when they're
Usually,
wife and children.
usually because I've done 100% of the work. So logically I go last.
Yeah, of course.
In that situation, it's going to be the drumstick thigh quarter, which is odd
and that's dark
because
meat.
that's dark meat.
Yeah.
It's delicious, though.
It is
Yeah.
very good.
But if I were to come across, like if catering, if catering on the set, like has chicken, whatever, I want the breast. I don't want that thigh thing. That does not look good.
So if you make it, but when you make it, you know how it's going to taste, as opposed to you
Yeah.
can't trust.
But also,
like,
I
breast
think
is good.
I think that the way that I make it, a lot of the fattiness just runs. It goes off.
I was going to ask, is there an open,
Yeah.
some sort of, somewhere to drip
Yeah.
underneath?
So like,
That's
if
the problem
I'm,
with the thigh and the leg a lot of times is it's on the bottom, so it's
Yeah.
sitting in.
Yeah, if I'm like facing my smoker, I put all of my coals and the wood and all that stuff on the left side, and then on the right side it's empty. There's a tray underneath with some water.
Mhm.
I tried using some apple cider once to see if it could, if that would change, and it didn't overwhelm the smoke. So, and I'm going to drink the cider now. It was an experiment. It didn't
Yeah.
work. So I put that there,
Hey,
and then
you want some of this chicken cider?
So now I just put the chicken, I just put it out like right on the grill and then close it up, and it takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
All right.
And then all the fat just runs down into that tray. And recently I forgot to empty the tray and I was making another batch of barbecue stuff. So I'm like heating up the coals and everything. And, the grease in the thing, caught on fire. So I had this like 3 foot tall column of grease fire flames shooting out of my barbecue. And part of my brain was like, I should close the lid and put that fire out. But then the part of my brain that I listened to was like, but this looks cool.
Yeah. That's the same part of your brain that enjoyed its 10th birthday, grabbed a marshmallow, put it on a stick, and threw it in there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds like, while we prefer, Will and I are sort of on the same page with preferring a drumstick if you make the chicken yourself or if you can trust it. In general, if you're out in the public, chicken breast is probably the better way to go. There's a million different things that you can do with it.
Right.
And never nuggets. Stay the hell away from that.
That's not even
they're the hot dogs of chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a tenderloin fan, though. I do like a chicken tenderloin. Is it called they're called tenders when you buy them, but it's that long strip that's underneath.
Well,
the chicken.
but that's just basically
part of the breast.
That's part of the breast.
Yeah.
Right.
So there you go. It's the chicken breast.
Chicken breast wins.
Asked and answered. Here's what we're going to do.
What?
We're going to take a brief break.
Okay.
So that we can listen to some of the other fun shows that are happening on the Maximum Fun Network.
Right here in this very room, many of them are recorded.
They're going to happen all during this 60 to 90 second break.
Man.
And then
we're going to put
back.
a lot of people in here.
We're going to figure it out. It's going to be like college in the 20s. We'll be right back.
I'm Travis.
And I'm Andy.
And we host Bunker Buddies, a comedy apocalypse podcast every Wednesday on MaximumFun.org.
We've got a brand new format for our podcast that we hope you want to come and check out.
We try out products for your go bag.
We'll try out cheddar larva and cricket bars so you don't have to.
We play Would You Rather and answer questions from the audience.
And we have great guests that pop into the bunker.
It's everything you love about the show and more. Come check it out every Wednesday here on MaximumFun.org. Stay safe out there.
There's always hope and cheesecake.
New York City, listen up. Your fellow Max Fun listeners and hosts are gathering at Stuart Wellington's new Brooklyn bar, and you're invited. You probably know Stuart from his hilarious movie riffing on the Flophouse, but did you know he's also a small business owner? It's true. Join Stuart and a ton of new Max Fun friends at the Hinterlands Bar on Saturday, August 27th at 7 p.m. You can find more information at bit.ly/MaxFunHinterlands. See you there.
Welcome back, everybody.
Thanks, Hal.
You're welcome.
I assume you're talking to Will and I because we're the only three in this room.
I am, and even though we didn't go anywhere, you're always welcome in my heart.
Thanks, man.
I'm glad you didn't leave, Internet.
All right, this one actually, I thought about maybe keeping it for a full episode, but it felt like a quick one. However, it was suggested on Twitter by Sarah Stewart and then started an immediate battle, which is
Whoa, back up on Twitter?
On Twitter.
That can't be right.
That's
normally,
weird.
Way more is on the internet?
People
That's
usually
strange.
get along there.
Twitter seems like a place where you make a funny joke and someone says, I really enjoyed that, and then that's the end of it.
I know. It's like the future from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Or, hey, thanks for that information. I wasn't aware of it. Yes, that picture is adorable.
But for a shining moment, there was a battle on Twitter, and it was
Get
over.
out.
I know. When you hear it, you'll understand.
Okay.
And that's Pop-Tarts versus toaster strudels.
Ew.
You wanted to do a whole episode on that?
I thought for a second, okay, maybe that's an episode. And then I realized
That's a commercial.
it's
That's a
here.
30-second commercial.
So do you want to say it on 3?
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Pop-Tarts.
Done. Asked and answered.
Sarah, take your toaster strudels that I know what you were doing.
I'll tell you what, you know who asks that question?
Who?
Toaster strudel.
Somebody who works at Toaster Strudel. Oh, okay.
Listen, when my grandfather, Ambrose Strudel, came to this country, he had a toaster and a dream. But that dream's been dashed. It's Pop-Tarts. They're the best. They even work cold or hot.
I never should have trusted you, Jeremiah Tart.
Yeah, your footman is mine.
I'll tell you what a toaster strudel is good for. Leave the strudels in the freezer, take that little cup or the little pouch of icing that they come with, and put that on absolutely anything else in your kitchen.
Is that wait a minute.
Yeah, they come
You
with
have
their
to
own-
build it?
Yes. It's
Why would I-
It's like a frozen Lunchable.
No.
Yeah.
No. So the IKEA of breakfast?
And you'll never do it. You will never ice anything. I want you all, Sarah, you listen to me. This is for you specifically.
I swear to God, Sarah.
You will never be able to ice that strudel the way you see it on the package. Do you understand me? You will never be able to do it. You're chasing an impossible dream.
Yeah, and don't just take a picture of the package and then put it on Twitter, because we'll know.
We will.
Please put a picture of whatever you draw with your toaster strudel on the internet. We'd love to see that.
Please be a dick.
Yeah.
Hashtag it toaster strudel art. We're having a giveaway on our Instagram account. All right. There you go, Sarah.
The prize is a box of Pop-Tarts.
Oh, that's so much shade. I'll bet you not one of the gangs at Disneyland has ever even had a toaster strudel.
No
They all
way.
roll with Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, of course they do.
Because they're all tough and awesome.
Yeah. They have those weird blueberry ones.
Yeah.
Where the inside is like a singularity. if you
all
look
right.
at it.
When I was like 10, I was in a movie, and one of the scenes called for me to eat a Pop-Tart, and the prop master was like, "What Pop-Tart do you want me to get for you?" And I was like, I don't
That was about to be my question. While we're on Pop-Tarts.
So
What's your choice?
Well, my choice then was a bad choice, and it was like cinnamon something or other.
Okay.
Because that's what they were advertising at the time. And I was like, oh, that's the new one, so it must be the best, because that's how, my 10-year-old brain works.
Oh, and they were not iced at the time, so it could have been any flavor in there.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was. I
Originally, they were just
like it.
brown sugar cinnamon. I know exactly the one you're talking about. I remember when it came out.
Yeah.
This is part of my
Brown
problem.
sugar cinnamon is my go-to.
I don't have a sweet tooth, and so I don't like either of these things. I mean, if obviously the answer is clearly Pop-Tarts. I mean, there's no question about that.
Of course,
I'm not a monster.
Like Sarah, who works over at Toaster Strudel.
Yeah, okay. I sit on your throne of strudel. Good luck with that. Probably I would probably be like a classic like strawberry guy, I guess. But I mean, they're gonna make some gross flavors, right? Like they probably make bubble gum or or mango,
blue
or
raspberry. Which, when that became a thing was gross, and because raspberries aren't blue, and stop just trying to do something with your blue food dye.
That's old white men deciding what kids will like, and somehow it's stuck. Like, kids love raspberries and blue.
I saw some, they like the strawberries with kiwis. You go try to find anything that's just kiwi. You can't. You can't. It always has strawberry.
Wait, strawberries cheating on rhubarb with kiwi?
Well, because Big Strawberry is really in tight in the breakfast pastry industry.
Yeah. But strawberry is my favorite Pop-Tart as well.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm a brown sugar cinnamon for life, yo.
Those are also great. Yeah. I love them both. I do not like s'mores. It's too much.
That's
because you get the cheap chocolate in there, and it just sucks.
Yeah. I don't like s'mores anyway. I mean, I don't like s'mores prime. Although
you're a guy that likes to cook, you don't like the activity of the physical fire creates dessert.
When I make them, I put the marshmallow into the fire, and then I just let it burn down to nothing. Because I would rather
You're not making a s'more.
I'm not making a s'more at all. I'm playing with my food because I like watching it burn.
Yeah.
Like I just, that's
You're like
just
Sid from Toy Story.
That's just what I like to do.
All right. Well, asked and answered. It's Pop-Tart, Sarah, and it's strawberry or cinnamon. And go ahead and torch your marshmallows. That's okay. Isabel Wilson.
Hi, Isabel.
Hi, Isabel.
She wants to know, when you go to the movie theater, or I guess even if you get microwave popcorn, is it better to get your popcorn? Let's just say this is for movies. This feels like a movie.
Yeah, this is a movie theater question.
Popcorns, buttered popcorns. That's fine. There are multiple of them in every bucket. Do you get your popcorn buttered or plain?
Now, I know, Hal, you and I have had this discussion.
I have very strong feelings about it, but I don't want to influence our guest. I'd like to hear your unfiltered opinion.
Okay, first of all, much like Hodgman calls it bases ball, I think it should be called popped corns.
Sure.
I think that's what it should be called.
Fair.
And I actually like it plain.
Okay.
I prefer it plain. I find that and that's because I understand that at this moment in time in the 21st century, the butter thing they put on it has at some point in its lifetime had a relationship to butter.
Right.
But when I was a kid, it had a relationship with, like, I guess whatever was left over at Lockheed after they scrapped the SR-71 program. And I really didn't like it. And it kind of like, I felt like I was waxing the inside of my mouth, you know, or like I'd made the inside of my mouth hydrophobic, after eating popcorn. So that's, and then when I make it at home, I make it with the Whirly Pop and like coconut oil, and I use mushroom popcorn and mushroom kernels, and I get like a really there's like a clean kind of flavor on it, a little bit of salt. But I'm guessing that you're a butter guy.
No,
Surprise. Putting butter, first of all.
You looked very disappointed in me when I said I didn't like butter, which is why
I was interested. I know I was just hanging on your every word.
Don't do that.
Here's who I'm disappointed in. It's Isabel Wilson, who even thinks that there is a universe that exists somewhere in our imaginations where it's okay to put what they call butter, quote unquote, on your popcorn. It is as if somebody has said, let me make you a bucket of popcorn, but first, I've got a really bad cold. Let me sneeze on it like 30 or 40 times.
Yeah.
And then you can go over to that weird, now they have like a weird salt and powder bar. Like, look.
Oh, I'm super not into that. At the movie theater where they're like, put garlic and chive on your popcorn. They did that. What?
Listen, if you hate popcorn, just go hate popcorn.
Yeah.
You can just go do a line of that butter, salt, or whatever crap they have you putting on that stuff, but never butter. Never, ever, ever. Ever butter. Ever. Mark?
I agree with both of you. I'm a plain popcorn guy. Just salt. Although when I'm at home, I will also put Old Bay on it. I'll toss a little Old Bay seasoning. You know Old Bay?
No. What's that?
It's great. It's like seasoned salt, but with a little bit of celery seed in it.
Okay.
So it's what gives Maryland crab cakes their distinct flavor.
Yeah. All right.
It's good. It's good. It's a good multi-purpose.
Yeah.
It never occurred to me to use various types of salt seasoning things.
Oh, yeah. If you do it minimally. Now, that stuff at the movie theater, it's like a thick white powder that comes out, and you're like, that's mostly just cornstarch, right? That's gross. But for me, it's less about about the oil and the grease on the popcorn. It's more about getting that all over my fingers when I'm watching a movie. I don't want to sit and watch a movie with gross, greasy hands.
Right.
As a fastidious kid and now adult, that bothers me.
You also don't want your shirt to look like an ink blotter when you're done, like a crime blotter. Where
my shirt often looks, when I'm done eating popcorn, I stand up. And like, it turns out there's a whole other serving of popcorn all around me that I can just pick up.
You look like that Pompeii blast where there's like a blast on the wall and then the outline of a person. It's just that with popcorn.
Yeah. So, my wife Ann eats popcorn 2 or 3 dainty kernels at a time. Yep. And I opt for more of a shovel fistfuls into my mouth as fast as I can, almost as if I'm on some kind of like assembly line of just, you know, like that powerhouse music from the Warner Brothers cartoons is playing while it just keeps on going. And, you know, like if I didn't need to use one hand to steady the thing that the popcorn is in, I'd be two-fisting popcorn for sure. Like, I mean, I love it. And how about those little mostly unpopped kernels at the bottom of the popcorn
not
thing?
the completely unpopped ones.
No. Those will break deep. The ones that are a little bit. Somebody told me you can buy them at Trader Joe's, a whole bag of just those.
What?
That is Trader Joe's. You are too hip for.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying Nobel Prize should be awarded in food chemistry for that, I think.
That they can figure out how to do that is amazing. Or do you think it's they pop the corn and then there's some sort of
and then they centrifuge it off?
Yeah. They centrifuge the
they get rid of the popcorn. I eat popcorn the same way you do, Will. And every time I take a bite, I just have this thought of like, if anybody is seeing me at this moment, they are witnessing the very worst of humanity play out in front of their eyes.
I eat popcorn the way hedonism bot would eat popcorn were it real.
I would like to point out to our listeners, if they could see both of you in your describing how you eat popcorn. If I were watching this and we were playing charades, I would never guess popcorn. For both of you, I would say eating an apple. That's what it looks like. It is the size of an apple in your hand. You are taking giant bites out of it as if you are eating an apple.
Yeah. I mean, it's more like I don't really eat popcorn. I stuff my mouth.
Yeah.
That's sort of like, no,
like you're at Build-A-Bear.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's exactly right. Where do you guys come down on the issue on the question of like caramel corn? Do you enjoy it? Do you not like it? Are you agnostic about it?
It's a different thing to me.
Yeah.
As a guy who every holiday would get that big tin
With the
that
three
had-
things,
Yeah,
right?
the yellow popcorn, the cheddar cheese popcorn, and the caramel popcorn.
Right. And then you eat all the caramel popcorn. And then you put that other one away in a closet. You put the other 2/3 away in a closet. Like, I'm going to eat that eventually. I'm not wasting food.
It's a time capsule.
They're the they're the strawberry and vanilla of that particular popcorn Neapolitan.
But you guys, I grew up doing summers on the Jersey Shore, going to Ocean City and Wildwood and Margate. And on the boardwalk there, they have Johnson's caramel corn, where they make it fresh. So you get a giant bucket, like for $20, my parents would get a giant bucket of fresh caramel corn. And then over the course of a weekend, we would eat it together as a family. And it was
That's pretty
best.
fantastic. I've had
that's really kind of the only place that I like it. And I've had it at like the county fair. And it's probably the same sort of thing.
Absolutely.
It's weird because I really do not have a sweet tooth, but there are certain like glaring exceptions, you know?
Yeah.
There's a way to eat popcorn in Chicago of that style. They call it Chicago style now, which is, and it sounds insane, but it's actually kind of tasty, is imagine that you've just got the two divided sections. Forget the plain buttered popcorn. And it's just the cheese popcorn and the caramel corn. Imagine taking that cardboard divider out and shaking the whole thing up.
See, now I would think Chicago style would be watching your team never make the playoffs. That's what I was, and it turns out I was mistaken.
Hey, the Cubs are the best team in baseball right now.
Is that true?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Well, it's a good thing to peak in August.
All right, Mark, we have time for one more, so make it a good one.
I'm going to go with book or ebook.
Man, that is such a tough one.
That could be a whole episode.
Yes, that was Dennis Sweeney.
Thank you, Dennis Sweeney.
I thought about whether or not that could be a whole episode, but then for me, it just came down to, look, I like to be able to read in any form. And the fact that technology allows us to have basically an entire archive or library with us in our hands is amazing. I have the Kindle app on my iPad, and I have, I think, 5 or 6 books in there at any given time. But I have found that I am less likely to sit and read through a book and get lost in it the same way that I do when I physically have 2 hands in a book and I'm flipping pages. Because then there's something to that physical tactile experience that makes it vastly superior.
I absolutely love the convenience of an ebook, and ultimately, whatever encourages people to read. However, like that, ultimately more people reading is better. Just from
You're a big reader.
I'm a huge reader. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, but from like a societal standpoint, the more people we have reading, the better. That said, if I had to choose, I would choose books because I don't want to live in a world that does not have bookstores.
Right.
Because I absolutely love going into a bookstore and getting lost. I love going into a library and getting lost. And you know, I read this book years ago called A Voyage for Madmen, and it's about this race that happened in the early 60s. It was a sailing race. And the race was you had to leave the southern tip of England and then sail around all 3 capes around the world and get back. And whoever got back first, and you could never stop. And whoever got back first won. There were no satellites at the time. There was just radio and charts and things like that. And something like 12 ships set out and one of them finished. And this story is about the people who did it. And it really changed my life because I like super identified with this one guy who had this unbelievably tragic story and this other guy who like kind of decided like winning didn't matter and, you know, just the journey was the thing. And it was, anyway, I never would have found this book if I had been in an ebook situation where I'm getting recommendations based on what I'm already reading. You know, I would just be like, here's some more science fiction for you, right? So I was at a bookstore and I was on my way to the science fiction section and that title just caught my eye in the travel section or whatever, and I stopped and picked it up, and I was opened up to this whole world of books like that. And then I read a bunch of them about like this books about people that sail are crazy, you know, and just like, especially before we had satellites and things like that, right?
Yeah.
And that wouldn't have happened without a bookstore. I would not be a writer if a librarian had not like seen a weird kid when I was in elementary school, lost and afraid in the library, not knowing what to do, bummed that the book I wanted already got taken by one of the cool kids, and directed me off to the sci-fi section. Like that, none of that ever would have happened. So I love the convenience of it. I really do. And I travel a lot, so I like that. And then the other thing is when you see someone reading a book you love, this is not my phrase, it's someone else's phrase. That's a book recommending a person.
Oh, I love that.
That's true.
Yeah. And you can't really ever see that with a Kindle because you're not just over someone's shoulder reading.
Like if someone's reading, whatever, Glenn Beck's pile of bullshit is, well, I know that's a person I don't need to talk to.
But there's another level to that where when you go into a bookstore and you're let's say you and I are in a bookstore together and we're in a specific section, we see a book that neither one of us is aware the other have read. We may both be drawn to that, and it'll start a new conversation, and that'll deepen our relationship or start a relationship with someone who you haven't met that you sort of bond over this book. So there is something to that you don't get online. As much as the internet brings us together, it isolates us as well. We don't have to go out and have those sort of chance encounters. Everything is convenient, and it doesn't all need to be convenient. And that to me is another reason why, like, books are not convenient. When you have a ton of them, they fill up your home.
Right.
But they also fill up your home.
Yeah.
And also, if you just had a Kindle with 10,000 books in it, your home would look like an Apple store.
Right.
It would just be sparse. If everything that you could put into a phone or an app.
But think of the suspenders you'd have in your house if it looked like an Apple store. I mean, that'd be great.
I'm with you guys though on this. But I do have to point out though that I was initially on the side of ebooks only because I have read since I began using ebooks and now using news feeds online. Yeah. I am so much more well informed and I have read 5 times as many books. But I do think that we all have, I guess, that sort of romantic artistry that just says, yeah, there's something about that holding onto a book. And that the bookstore thing I didn't think about, but that there are a lot of great books that I have found. I've found just by walking past an end cap and going, ooh, what are you?
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. You know what? And people who choose to work in bookstores generally are people who love books and they want to match you up with a book that you love. Like they're sort of like matchmakers, I guess, right? And same thing with librarians. I mean, these are people who are like, the value that they add to society is not reflected in the amount of respect or salary that they get, like, at all.
I would like to give a shout out to my neighborhood bookstore. Do you guys have a neighborhood bookstore that you enjoy? Powerhouse Books in Park Slope, Brooklyn. I went the other day when the new Harry Potter play came out in book form, and they had completely taken the store and all handmade decorations. They had built a Quidditch
that's so great.
Pit, like all of this stuff. That's I love that. So
there are 2 that I love. There's a bookstore on Magnolia in Burbank called Dark Delicacies, and it's just horror and sci-fi and occult books. And I think the greatest bookstore in Los Angeles County is called The Last Bookstore.
Fantastic.
In downtown LA.
Downtown. Beautiful. And go to the second floor if you go to that.
The second floor is amazing. Yeah. That arch of books that they have and their sci-fi section and their used section is amazing. And I really like that.
That would be my local pick as well, because the nearest bookstore to me, down in the marina is a Barnes & Noble, which is, look, any bookstore is fine, but there is something to that independent bookstore where they decorated do stuff. There is a bookstore, the name of which is escaping me. It's in New Hope, Pennsylvania, which is where I proposed to my wife. So every time we take a trip, back to Philadelphia, we go there and hang out. It's a great, like, quaint area, but it's huge. And it's one of those, New Hope is one of those places that's maybe one of the only places where not only one bookstore like that, but several bookstores like that can thrive because it's a really cool, like, artsy, community. But it's a great bookstore. I wish I could remember the name of it, but it's huge. It might be Farley's Bookshop.
Yeah.
Christian Duenas.
Well done, Christian.
Who's our guest producer.
See, in my head, I was going to call it, Hey, Books.
Hey, you know what? You should read a book sometimes. That's the name of it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Is your sister reading books about me?
Oh! That's the Philadelphia slogan.
Right.
So books win. Asked and answered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Asked
go.
and answered.
Thanks, Dennis.
And that is that we have more topics. That's going to have to go to our next clean slate.
The slate will never truly be clean.
No, not when we have 200 some odd topics going on.
Cleaned a section of it, though. Wil Wheaton, thank you for joining us.
It was a pleasure.
Tell everybody where they can find you online. What should they be looking for? Whatever you like to plug. The floor is yours.
My website is wilwheaton.net. I write a blog there. On Twitter, I'm at Will W, but you shouldn't follow me because I'm the worst. On Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat, it's Wil Wheaton. And I do a show with Geek and Sundry called Tabletop. That is where we play nerdy board games, and our 4th season will be starting up a little bit later this year. And at this moment in my life, right now, we are recording this in the pretty much in the dead middle of August. I'm about 10,000 words into a story that I've been writing that I thought was going to be 2,500 words. So once that is finished, it'll take its place in a collection of short stories that I'm releasing later this year. And at the moment, it's called 7 Stories in Search of a Title, because I have no idea what to call it.
Perfect.
Yeah, and those are the things. Those are the things that I do.
Fantastic. I do want to say I read your blog and I enjoy it a great deal. It's really it's not only well written and entertaining, but also very personal. And for anybody out there reading it, it's not only insight into another human being, but it's also stuff that everybody can identify with. And I think it's actually can be a really good resource for people.
Oh, thanks.
So I encourage you to check that out for sure.
I have depression and anxiety, and I write about that a lot. And
which a lot of people do. So.
And the reason I write about it as much as I do, and my Tumblr is wilwheaton.tumblr.com, and I write about it a lot there as well, because I suffered for a long time with mental illness before people that I admired and trusted and I had no idea had mental illness started publicly talking about it. And that made me feel like, well, geez, if they, but they're so successful and they're doing so well. Okay, well, maybe I'm not as messed up and weird as I think I am. And if I can just normalize it for another person and encourage another person to make the phone call to go talk to a doctor so that they can stop suffering, that's really important to me. So I write about that a lot in my various spaces.
That's great. That's going to do it for us.
Yeah. Thank you, Will. And thank you to everyone who sent suggestions to us for topics for this episode. Those are covered, but there are many more topics to discuss. So reach out to us on Twitter at We Got This Tweets, or check out the Maximum Fun subreddit. A flame war is probably happening right now.
You can fill up the slate at facebook.com/We Got This Podcast, or email us at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you to guest producer Christian Duenas. Our regular producer is, of course, Ken Plume. Want to thank researcher Kate McManus, graphic designer Uri Kelman, and QA engineer Jen Alba.
And thanks, as always, to Mike Furman and Jonathan Dinerstein for our award-winning theme song and score, respectively. And, of course, thank you to you, our listeners. Hal and I would not be sitting in a room with Wil Wheaton right now in this space, enjoying our lives as much as we are, eating these Pop-Tarts, and joining our new Disney gang, if it weren't for you.
I'm also sitting on 16 pounds of uneaten popcorn.
For Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
And for Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin. And don't worry, everybody.
We got this.
We got this.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Listener supported.